William Bao Bean, we have covered a lot. Now we're going to cover examples of awesome extreme entrepreneurs. Let's hear about
Yeah, so one of the interesting things about people today is they love sports, but they don't consume sports on the big screen anymore. They consume sports on their phones. So AI is driving a revolution in terms of sports. One of our companies, Videoverse, has been able to do something that AI companies in the US and China have not been able to do, and it's because they started from India. So in the US, you want to edit video. So you would send the video to the AI company and they send you the clips back, and then you have clips of your favorite sports league. Because Videoverse started in India, if you the broadband doesn't work that well, so you send a terabyte of data, it'll get there someday. So they engineered a solution where they could remotely edit the video without the video leaving the sports league's servers, and that's made it real time. They started with India Premier League cricket, India football, soccer, and then they expanded out. So they signed up Champions League, La Liga in Europe, UEFA, FA Cup. And the key thing is that if you've got a big brand and you give real time highlights for people on their small screen on their phones, it increases engagement. So last year, when they powered Wimbledon, they 5x the online audience versus the previous year. They supported the last Olympics, NFL Game Pass, that's from Videoverse, and they just signed last year FIFA. So a lot of those clips that you're seeing pop up in real time, or the ability to watch a game in a abbreviated form, that is being powered by Videoverse.
Videoverse. The data doesn't leave the servers of whoever recorded it.
Yeah,
How's that
the owners
possible?
of the IP. Well, that's an engineering challenge that they figured out, which gave them a lead versus any of the U.S. or Chinese firms.
Incredible. All right. Anything else? How about one that solves somehow a existential problem related to sustainability or
Yeah.
something like that? Climate.
So if you want to drive health insurance in North America or Western Europe, it's about marketing. You're spending money to get people to buy your health insurance instead of somebody else's health insurance. But when you're in an emerging growth market, one of the key challenges is people don't understand health insurance. People don't actually trust health insurance because they heard it's a scam. People get sick, they pay the bill, then they try and get their money back from the health insurance company and they don't get it. So in Nigeria, people don't trust it. So we backed a company called Care, where people they get need to get over that psychological barrier where they're putting money into health insurance, but they're not getting a return. And a lot of times they've heard their friends say, well, I bought this health insurance, I got sick, and I tried to get my money back from the health insurance company. They wouldn't give it to me. So with Social Care, what they do is they enable people to donate their bottles and cans or to put their recycling to Social Care, and in return for the recycling, they get health insurance. So it removes that psychological barrier. So they're insured, and then boom, they get sick. So they get malaria. They got to go to hospital for a week. They lose a week's worth of wages. Um, they pay, um, and then our company basically leverages an AI driven system to suck the money out of the health insurance company and give it back to the insured. So they have that great experience, and it removes both the trust factor, but also the psychological barrier to paying upfront for something where they will receive a benefit. The great thing is that they like the health insurance so much once they've used it that even when they move to a place where we don't have bottle and can collection, recycling collection, they start paying for the health insurance. And in this way, we can actually do preventative care instead of people just ending up in the hospital and going personally bankrupt because they have get hit by a malaria or another disease.
Why do they have bigger faith in insurance just because they're collecting cans and giving it to somebody?
It's more like this. It's not that they have faith in the insurance. It's more about using it. The challenge that they have is that they think it's a money pit. They don't trust that they're going to need it because they have to pay every month, but they're not seeing a benefit
Right.
until they actually get sick.
Right.
And people generally don't look forward to getting sick. They don't think I will, on average, every 2 years get sick 1.2 times. They just think, I'm putting money towards something and I'm not seeing something back.
Right.
So you want to get across that psychological barrier. And these people have never used health insurance before.
Right.
So it's, if you've never done something, there's always going to be a barrier to like, okay, should I try this? Like in America, people did not use QR codes until COVID came. Whereas all around the world, like in Asia and China and many markets, QR codes were extremely popular, but they didn't make it to the US until COVID made it really, something that people wanted to do. They didn't want to touch anything, right? So people started using QR codes 10 years after the rest of the world.
Wow. That alone was an interesting example.
Yeah.
Use the example of eliminating rot. That was, what was the name of that company?
Well, we have 50 portfolio companies that
Okay.
digitize the food supply chain
50 of them.
from farmer to the supply chain logistics to retail, even to restaurant.
Okay.
And, in UAE, in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, we've got a company digitizing UAE farmers and dairies and enabling farm to table to restaurants and also to homes. So we're doing things that, not copy paste, but learn and localize. And food security in the Middle East and across North Africa, and even all the other markets in the world, but especially has been a huge topic going into the recent conflict.
Now, I have to ask, were you saying that health insurance company, is it social care or so care?
SOSO, so care.
So you're smiling. I was smiling off camera. I'm going to do the hand gesture. I think of this as so care.
Yeah.
Is there a meaning in a local language?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's always meanings to something. We had a company which had a brand and a logo, which is a circle with a hole in it. And they were now in 27 markets, and the name of the company, basically meant a circle with a hole in it on your human body. Yeah. Your butt. Yeah. So anyway, so sometimes things don't translate too well. A lot of times we try and encourage our companies, because we help them go cross border, to have names that don't mean something rude in any language.
There's an old story that somebody can look up. Maybe it's an urban legend. I don't think so. I think I have fact checked this one. You know which one I'm going for.
No, I don't know. So many.
Ford Pinto.
Yeah.
Pinto's a kind of horse in the American West.
Yeah.
They tried to sell it in Brazil, still branded as a Pinto, and apparently Pinto means something else, something that one man would yell at another to disparage something about them. So hopefully that was safe for work.
Yeah.
Any other really just awesome examples of problems being solved related to social impact, or especially environmental impact? Decarbonization. There's a whole panel on decarbonization. They said there's opportunities in the grid, there's opportunities in everywhere where there's inefficiency and waste.
Yeah, so what we're doing is proven models that worked in China or maybe India or maybe somewhere else, and then partnering with local founders around the world. So one thing that used to work is secondhand smartphones. A lot of people, they want a smartphone because in emerging markets and growth markets, a smartphone means a job. If you don't have a smartphone, you cannot work. But they're expensive. It's an upfront cost. So if you have a secondhand smartphone, it lowers down the price. Now the challenge is the trust, because how do you know that secondhand smartphone isn't stolen? How do you know that it's going to get bricked? How do you know that secondhand smartphone is not going to die like 2 weeks after you buy it? So what we did is we took the model out, and we have 4 companies that refurbish secondhand smartphones, analyze them, pull the components out that are either broken or going to break, replace them, recycle those old components, for the metal in them, and then sell the smartphone under a brand, a secondhand smartphone brand that brings trust, and it also has a 6 to 14-month warranty. That if something goes wrong, the person who buys it has a place where they can go to solve their problem. I mean, even if it's out of warranty, they can still get that smartphone repaired and pay a fee. So we're doing it in India, we're doing it in the Middle East, we have another company in Africa and another company in Latin America. And this model works very well. It solves a problem. It's very profitable. And it also has an impact because these lower income people can get a smartphone so that they can get a job. And we do this market by market by market. So not just smartphones, but also motorcycles. In Southeast Asia, it's a $50 billion market, secondhand smartphones. There's a massive trust problem. It's fragmented. For Latin America, we have another company, And Motai, that is a $150 billion opportunity. And again, it's the same challenges. So it's not copy paste; it's learn and localize. Each of these companies does solves a problem in a slightly different way. They monetize in a slightly different way. But for us, we're basically running this playbook of how do you use tech, use internet, use software to drive digital transformation of an economy and help people make more money.
All right. I think we did our job. We got stories. Favorite place to visit? You split your time between, you mentioned Saudi Arabia, Kenya. Where else?
So I spend quite a lot of time in Riyadh, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Doha, Hong Kong, Singapore. Go to Morocco, Kenya, Nigeria. I was just in Botswana for a conference. Cape Town's always nice, another conference. And we do focus on LATAM. So I do spend about 10 to 12 weeks a year in Miami. I'd say for me, one of the things I do when I'm not meeting with founders and helping them get sales and go cross border. Is I do like to eat. We're at Viva Tech right now. Food in Paris is amazing. And one place where I really enjoy eating is Taiwan. Go to Taipei. The sushi is so good that people from Japan fly to Taiwan to eat the sushi.
Really?
So it's also really inexpensive. You can get a pre-pi omakase that would cost you, $200, $300 in the U.S. for 30.
Wow. All right. Any favorite extreme travel stories? I mean, you don't take crazy risks, but
yeah. So there's this place in Riyadh, west of the city, called the End of the World, and it's like the Saudi version of the Grand Canyon. I mean, there's a plateau, or basically there's the land, and then there's a giant drop, and then there's land. And I have this aversion to heights. So there's this little place where you stand there, you take a picture, but like 5 feet behind you, it's, I don't know, half a mile drop or something. It's pretty freaky. So check out the End of the World. It's beautiful. It's amazing. If you can travel to Saudi, highly recommend it. Just not during the summer. It's good from October, maybe to February, March, and check out the End of the World.
All right. Anything else you want to say? Are you overall optimistic about the future, pessimistic, or meh?
No, I think what we're seeing is a revolution. The problems always stay the same. Okay, what changes is the tech, and problems that were previously not solvable are now solvable in an efficient and effective and a price, affordable way. So we've always been very optimistic, and with this AI, we're driving a really huge leapfrog effect. Problems before that were not solvable or too expensive to solve are now solvable. We're very positive on that. Of course, we need governance. Of course, we need security. We do need guardrails, okay? But we're very positive on opportunities that to help humanity make more money, be more prosperous, have a better life. And people who are prosperous generally throw fewer rocks at each other. We hope that's a side effect that we'll be seeing over the next decade.
That's a nice way to end. God, you almost sparked one more reflection or question. Damn it. What was it? I think it was on the issue of if it's going to be AI that is fundamentally changing things to be more productive, find solutions faster, reduce waste and cost. At the same time, we need more electricity, more data centers, more water. I mean, specifically on the climate crisis. Do you think it used to be something that we worried about? Now it seems to have been dropped down the agenda list. Am I crazy, or does that reflect reality? Is there a lower sense of urgency?
Well, I think one of the things about emerging growth markets is that the AI is not the product, the agent is not the product is AI driven. So the cost of the product is not necessarily going up. The other thing is that when you have these shocks and volatility, it drives people to more sustainable sources of power. So Pakistan, for example, where we're quite active, the power grid is volatile. It doesn't always work. So you've seen the largest use of solar in the country, of any country in the world, at least that we operate in. Adoption of solar is massive. And with the increase in gas prices and so on and so forth, you're seeing people get mass benefits from using more sustainable technologies like EVs, for example, like solar panels. They're seeing that benefit. The people who did not, they're seeing the hit in the pocketbook. And so we're generally overall positive and we think that there's the big opportunity. Now, of course, you know, there is going to be a massive need for power. But where's that power going to come from? Are you going to see giant pipelines going across Africa? Probably not. What we will see, though, is a real big boost in solar and other more sustainable and eventually basically more affordable sources of power.
All right, we'll end on that note. William Bao Bean, thank you very much.
Thanks so much.
And I hope to stay in touch and find out what the news stories are in another year or two. Cheers.